Hey, what's going on, everybody? Passion here once again, bringing you another video about this time being the Xbox Game Showcase for 2020. If you're wondering why this is so late, I do have a very good reason. On the day that the Xbox show happened, I got home from work and found out from my mom that we are being forced to move. Our landlord is moving back to our house. So it was kind of a bombshell kind of drop that kind of took precedence over the Xbox show. I did watch the Xbox show that day, but I didn't feel like doing a reaction to it immediately. But now, as we are in the final stages of getting everything ready to move, um, and everything is kind of calmed down enough here, I think I can finally give some of my thoughts on what happened at the Xbox Game Showcase of 2020. Um, now, uh, as always, I'm not gonna go over every game that was announced, and there was a hell of a lot of games announced. Um, but I just wanted to share a few thoughts on a few things. First being, of course, Halo Infinite. Now, Halo Infinite, of course, in the days since this all came out, there's been a lot of talk about Halo Infinite. Uh, Immediately after the showcase, people were criticizing the graphics. Now, to me, the graphics look fine. I think that the criticism that it's getting is that everyone expected it to be the best thing they'd ever seen, and they just set their expectations for graphics so high that uh that they were just, it wasn't going to live up to that, especially, for a game that, as we found out, isn't really uh far enough in development to, be showing the final actual product of the game, because of course it was just announced a couple weeks ago that that Halo Infinite has been delayed until 2021. My guess is that it's probably not going to be too far into 2021, but it has been delayed as of now, and I'll get into that near the end of this video about what that means. So I thought the graphics were fine. I think that the problem that people had with it was that it didn't really have really noticeable ray tracing. Um, and I noticed myself a couple things. Like, there was one little instance where there was some popping in the background and stuff. But like, um, in terms of the graphics, like, I think if you stop trying to compare the graphics to what Sony's doing on the PS5 or other, Xbox Series X games, and compare them actually to the last Halo, because trying to compare them to games from other studios and other developers on other consoles isn't really fair. But if you compare the graphics from this to some of 343's other past games, this is a big improvement. Is it as advanced as some of those other games? No, but um, obviously, the good news is I guess that they are working at making graphics better. That's one of the reasons for the delay, and it will support ray tracing on NVIDIA graphics cards upon release that, support the ray tracing, the RTX 20 line and up. So that's good that they're working on the graphics. But I think that people made a big fuss about that when they really didn't need to. I thought the graphics for Halo were fine. Um, I've never been a huge Halo fan, so I probably won't pick it up. But I just thought I'd mention that I don't really agree with all the criticism that's been going on about the graphics of Halo Infinite. They look fine to me. Um, Also, I guess the big thing for me was the reveal of Forza Motorsport, which is exciting to see that, one, they're kind of rebooting the franchise. What my guess is that the reason that this isn't Forza Motorsport 8 and this is just called Forza Motorsport is because they're planning on launching Forza Motorsport as more of a platform. They are, instead of releasing yeared entries, they're going to release Forza Motorsport as a platform at the very beginning of the Series X's life, and uh, from there, throughout the lifespan of the Series X, continue adding new cars, continue adding new track, continue adding new DLC, in every which way. Um, and it'll just keep improving on that game as time goes on. It's not going to really be a live service game because it's not a live service game would entail that that there's cosmetics and microtransactions and stuff. I don't see that happening with Forza. Um, but I do see them, adding more DLC and more content to it in the future, and free updates and all that. So, and I'm also very happy to see that they've expanded their partnership with IMSA because, yeah, IMSA. I got into IMSA racing last year. My dad and I went to actually go to an IMSA race in person. It was absolutely amazing. I love the experience, and I was super excited when I found out that Forza had started working with IMSA. Right before I went to that race. I guess they had a partnership with them for a little while, and I found that out. But I was kind of disappointed to realize that, well, in the past games since they've announced the partnership, they really haven't done anything with it. I mean, they've added maybe a couple, like one or two IMSA cars into the game, and they've added the IMSA logo on some tracks, but that's about it. They haven't really done anything. It looks like with Forza Motorsport, this new one they're releasing for the Series X, they will be very, very closely working with IMSA, and IMSA might even, contribute to some kind of campaign in the game, is what a lot of people are expecting. So, an IMSA campaign in Forza Motorsport would be awesome. I really hope that's the case, and I'm super excited for that. Um, the other thing I wanted to mention is the new game from Don't Nod. As you know, I've kind of turned around on Don't Nod recently. Like since last year, I want to say I kind of turned around on them. And when I first saw the reveal of Tell Me Why, which is their new game, I wasn't really thinking about it too much, but after watching the whole conference again before doing this video, made me realize how interesting this could be. So I'm excited to check that out. I guess the first chapter drops like in like a week or two from when I'm making this video, so that'll be exciting to play. And there was a bunch of other games that kind of piqued my interest a little bit, like Avowed. Avowed was kind of interesting. We only got a short little teaser for that, but if that's any indication of like what an RPG on the Xbox Series X looks like, then sign me up. And also, of course, the or Medium. I'm not super big on horror games, but like the technical, like prowess of the Medium, which is of course the new horror game from Bloober Team, which I believe they worked on Blair Witch, and of course they've also worked on the Layers of Fear games. They're really big in the horror industry now. They're making this new game called The Medium, where there's the big selling point, the big gimmick of this one is that it's a horror game with two worlds that are rendered simultaneously that you can switch between. And I guess that that the Series X gives them the power to do that. So from a technical standpoint, it's kind of amazing. Am I gonna play it? Probably not. But I'm just kind of impressed with what Bloober Team has done with that game. And of course, got to talk about that giant big reveal at the end that people were speculating on for a while, because there was even in the Forza community there was kind of whisperings going around that that Playground Games, while working on Forza Horizon 4 and continuing to add content to that, there was kind of rumors going around, little whispers here and there, that Playground Games was developing a non-racing game for Xbox, and some people had kind of thrown it out there and speculated that maybe it could be a reboot of Fable. And at the very end of the Xbox game showcase, it was confirmed, yes, Playground Games of Forza Horizon fame is going to be making a reboot of the Fable series for Xbox Series X. That's kind of... I mean, I never got into the Fable games. Even as a kid, I thought they were kind of immature. But uh, I am excited for the Fable fans to have this. Fable fans have been waiting so long, dealing with all of Peter Molyneux's bullshit regarding Fable. So I'm super excited to see that Fable has been put into somebody else's hands who's going to deliver on this, and why not Playground Games? I mean, yes, they're primarily known for racing. They're primarily known for Forza Horizon, which of course is my favorite, Xbox series of all time. But they got a good team over there, and I'm anxious to see how they handle a non-racing game, and if they have the chops to pull it off. Because this is a really historic franchise, and I'm sure that they know that over there, and they're going to try to do it right. So, I'm really anxious to see what comes out of that deal with Playground Games making the next Fable. Um, but overall, of course, I got to give the show a letter grade and stuff. But before I get to that, I did just want to touch back on Halo for a second. Is that obviously people were touting the Series X launch with Halo as something that the PS5 was going to have a hard time competing with. I mean, yes, the PS5 has some pretty solid, stuff to come out, but launching with Halo was kind of a big deal for the Series X. But now that that Halo has been delayed until 2021, even if it is just a few months into 2021, even if it comes out in like February or March or April of 2021, that's still going to hurt the Series X sales. And honestly, if somebody handed me, and this is even as an Xbox fan, if somebody handed me enough money to buy either console on launch day, and or maybe like a week after launch day when they're both out, and gave me the money and said, which one are you going to buy, but you have to play games on it that are available right now, which would you pick? And based on the fact that, of course, Halo is gone from the launch lineup, and the launch lineup in terms of new games for Xbox is very weak. What Xbox is really hoping for is that you subscribe to Xbox Game Pass, but I already am an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, and 99% of those games coming out on Xbox Series X for Game Pass are games I can already play on my Xbox One. That's I just don't see the point of getting a Series X right now. So if somebody gave me the money, I would probably go with PS5, based on their launch lineup. Will Series X be something I'll probably get into in the future? Yes, especially for the new Forza, because that is coming exclusively to Series X. But in terms of launch, I think Sony has the advantage here, and that means that I'm gonna give the Xbox Showcase a letter grade of a C. It was exciting, not super, drain me of my wallet, made me pre-order this now kind of a thing, but it was at least average. It was acceptable. It was an acceptable show. Not a lot of faults with it. It just didn't have the star power games that it really needed. And it didn't really sell me on the launch of Xbox One, and especially when a lot of these games that are coming out for the Series X are gonna be also be available on the Xbox One, especially with smart delivery, which means that if you buy them on Xbox One or you play them on Xbox One, if you ever upgrade to a Series X, well then there you have your upgraded version already there. The Xbox is so afraid of appearing anti-consumer by having exclusives that they're gonna kill their launch of this console, and I think that Sony's gonna have an easy launch for the PS5, and Xbox will have to do a little bit catching up before they get back some of that market share for that. So obviously, my most anticipated game is probably going to be Forza Motorsport. Of course, I'm a Forza shill. I'll buy anything with Forza on it. But that's not coming out for a while. That's not even coming out at the launch of the Series X. So that's something to think about too. I think the only Forza that you can play on Series X when it launches is the Series X optimized version of Horizon 4. It is going to be the only thing you can play, which I've already played the hell out of that game, so why would I get a Series X just to play that? Hence why I say that PS5 kind of wins the launch window of this holiday. But that's all I really had to say. This video's gone on way longer than I really wanted it to, so I'm going to leave you guys with that. And if there are any more big game announcements coming out, I'll make sure to do a reaction of those too. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.